Hello, and welcome back to 10 Minute Movies, where we take cinematic masterpieces, and more often disasters, and splice them down into short videos. Today we're taking a look at the second film in the James Bond franchise, From Russia with Love. The film was released in 1963, just a year after the first movie, Dr. No. Dr. No was so successful that the production company doubled the budget for From Russia with Love. This led to, in my opinion, a much more varied and exciting sequel. Like Dr. No, it too was directed by Terence Young, and it also currently holds a 95% score on Rotten Tomatoes. So, without further ado, let's get into the plot. The film starts with the familiar gun barrel sequence before we're thrown into the apparent murder of James Bond. This turns out to be a Spectre training exercise involving assassin Donald "Red" Grant and a man in a Bond mask. Spectre, out for revenge after the death of Dr. No in Jamaica, are preparing an elaborate mission to assassinate Bond. Spectre's chief planner, chess grandmaster Kronstein, devises a brilliant plan to lure James to his death. Spectre's chief executive, number 1, puts Rosa Klebb, a former Soviet intelligence colonel, in charge of the mission. The plan is as follows. Rosa Klebb intends to lure Bond to Istanbul by promising the British Secret Service a Lecter cryptography device. This is basically an advanced decoder owned by the Russians, meaning the plan involves playing British and Soviet intelligence against each other. To do this, Klebb recruits Tatiana Romanova, a cipher clerk at the Soviet consulate in Istanbul, who believes Klebb is still working for the Soviet government. Klebb also chooses Red Grant, the assassin from the beginning, to protect Bond until he acquires the Lecter. Then, Grant is to kill him and steal the machine for Spectre, so they can sell it back to the Russians. In London, the head of the Secret Service M informs Bond that a Russian cipher clerk has contacted Station T in Turkey, offering to defect with a top-secret Lecter, on the condition that James Bond handles her case personally. M deduces that it's a trap, but decides the chance of obtaining a Lecter is worth the risk. Before being sent to Istanbul, however, Bond meets Q, MI6's weapons master. Q gives Bond an attaché case with a concealed throwing knife, 50 gold sovereigns, a tear gas booby trap, and a sniper rifle. Then, Bond flies to Istanbul. There, he's taken to meet head of Station T, Karim Bey. On the way, his car is tailed by Bulgarian agents working for Russia. This is known about by Station T, however.
They follow us, we follow them. It's a sort of understanding we have.
Bond is taken to Karim Bey, and the two discuss the case. Outside, Red Grant steals the Bulgarian car and kills the driver, before delivering the car to the Soviet consulate. The Soviets believe it was the British in Station T who killed their driver, so in retaliation, they bomb Karim's office with a limpet mine, but thankfully he's unhurt. Karim takes Bond to spy on the Soviet consulate through a periscope in the aqueducts beneath Istanbul, and the two learn that the Soviets were indeed responsible for the bombing. Fearing for his life, Karim takes Bond to a rural Gypsy settlement to lay low. Whilst there, he is attacked by a group of Russian-led Bulgarians. In the ensuing battle, Grant fulfills his duty in keeping Bond alive by saving him from a sniper shot. The fight is eventually won by the Gypsies, and Bond and Karim stay the night at the settlement. The next evening, Bond finds Romanova in his hotel room, and they have sex. Unbeknownst to either of them is that Spectre filmed the entire thing. The following day, Romanova brings the consulate floor plans to the Hagia Sophia, where she gives them to Bond. Using the plans, Bond and Karim steal the Lecter from the consulate. Then, Bond, Romanova, and Karim escape aboard the Orient Express. However, a Soviet security officer named Benz tails them onto the train. This forces Bond and Karim to apprehend him in one of the train's cabins. Bond leaves Karim with the man, and while he's gone, Grant kills both Karim and Benz. Bond returns to find the two dead and presumes that the two fought each other to death. Incidentally, the death of Karim also prevents Bond from rendezvousing with one of Karim's men, who would have taken them all to safety. Because of this, Bond and Romanova are forced to continue on to Belgrade. At the station, Bond passes word of Karim's death to his son and asks for an agent from Station Y to meet him at Zagreb. At Zagreb, the agent, called Captain Nash, boards the train and attempts to find Bond. However, Grant kills Nash and decides to pose as the agent. He then meets with Bond for dinner. During the meal, he spikes Romanova's drink. The trio head back to a cabin where Romanova passes out. Bond confronts Grant, who in turn overpowers him. When he awakens, Grant taunts Bond by telling him that
The girl? Isn't she working for Spectre too?
No. She thinks she's doing it all for Mother Russia.
Grant then reveals the rest of Spectre's plan. Having kept Bond alive long enough to bring Spectre the Lecter, Grant can now kill Bond. He then plans to leave the compromising film of Bond and Romanova with a blackmail letter, staging their deaths as a murder-suicide in order to scandalise the British Secret Service. As a dying man's request, Bond asks for a cigarette. He tricks Grant into opening the booby-trapped case, setting off the tear gas bomb. Grant is distracted, allowing Bond to jump him. The two fight, but eventually, thanks to the concealed knife in the case, Bond is able to kill Grant. Realising that Grant must have had a getaway, Bond and Romanova leave the train when it unexpectedly stops. Sure enough, there's a getaway truck waiting, intended for Grant. Bond kills the driver, and he and Romanova flee the scene. On their way back to safety, following Grant's escape route, Bond and Romanova are attacked by a Spectre helicopter. Bond manages to destroy the helicopter though, using his rifle. He and Romanova then steal a boat on the Croatian coast and head towards Italy. As they leave, they're pursued by a squadron of Spectre powerboats. They shoot at Bond and Romanova, but Bond releases and then detonates his own powerboat's fuel drums with a flare gun, which engulfs the pursuers in a sea of flames. Having arrived in Venice, Bond and Romanova reach a hotel. There, they are attacked by Klebb, disguised as a maid. She tries to kill Bond with a poison-tipped switchblade shoe, but Romanova shoots her, finally breaking her allegiance with Russia. Having accomplished their mission, Bond and Romanova depart on a romantic boat ride. The screen fades to black as Bond and Romanova kiss, and Bond throws the compromising microfilm into the Venice Canal. Thank you so much for watching 10-Minute Movies. If you'd enjoy this, then please subscribe for more videos like it, and I'll see you all later.